Alright, so let's go to our list view and modify it so we can link to our details view. So in my list view, currently we don't have any links. Now of course we could use the HTML helpers that the older versions of ASP used, but like I said before, we don't want to do that. Instead, we will use the tag helpers to create our links. But if you remember, in order to use tag helpers, we first need to actually add them to our application. And rather than adding them to this view and then any other view that we need them for, we can add them globally in the _viewports file. So let's open that one. And it's right here in the views. So here we add in the models namespaces, and now we can also add the directive for the tag helpers. So we'll start with add, and you can see we have tag helpers available. And then we specify that we want all tag helpers, so that's the star, comma, and then we specify the namespace where the tag helpers are. And we want the built-in tag helpers, so that's gonna be in Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC.TagHelpers. So this is the directives to add all built-in tag helpers from the Microsoft ASP.NET Core namespace. So with this, we can now go back to our list and actually start using tag helpers. So for the link, we want to specify what controller and what action should be invoked when this link is actually clicked. And the link we want to create is the one that displays the name. So instead of just displaying the name, we will display it as a link. So I will start with the A anchor, and then we'll go and create our tag helper. And the tag helper is ASP dash, and you can see we have quite a few tag helpers, and the one we want is to specify the controller that we want to go to from this link. And that's the controller candy. Now we want to specify what action should be invoked on this controller when this link is clicked, and of course we want to display the details, so that's the action we want. So we'll go to ASP dash action, and it's the details. But remember, in our details, we need to pass in the ID of the candy that we want to display. And to pass in an argument in the URL, we will use ASP-route. So it's going to be ASP-route and then dash ID. And it doesn't have to be called ID, but we need to call it the same as is the argument that we are passing into this action. I could call this candy ID, and if I did, then over here I would have to pass in the candy ID. It would have to match. So in our case, we're simply using ID. So I can go and just pass in the ID here as well. But just remember, this is not built in. This is just the name of the argument that you pass into the controller action, and the two must match. So what is the ID? Well, the ID is of course available to us from the model, and we are looping through each candy in the model, so we will have each ID available for each of the candies. So we can simply go to our candy from the loop, dot, and pick up the ID, which is the candy ID. So this is our link, and the anchor text can be, of course, the name of the candy. So we'll use candy.name. We used to display just the name, but now it's going to be an actual link with the candy name, so it's going to be clickable. So let's run it and see if everything works. So we'll go to our candy/list, and notice now all these links are clickable. And down here in this corner, when I hover over any of them, you can see that we go to candy/details and the ID is being passed in. So in this case it's ID 7, this one has 8, this one 5, 4, and so forth. So let's actually click one, and we go to the details page. For the ID of the candy that we passed in, we have the big image and all the text for the candy description. So let's go back. So we'll go back to our candy list, and let's click some other one, and you can see we go to, this time, details/8, so it's the candy with ID 8, and we have all the text and the price to the right as well. So everything is working correctly. But in order to navigate to the details page, we need to go to the list page first. So it would be nice to have a navigation bar that we could use on all pages that would take us back to the main page. So let's create one next.